Always check.
Forecast. Expect fair skies on Saturday and Sunday, and on Monday, expect a chance of thunderstorms.
10 minutes to the hour, we'll take a look at the storms rumbling across the U.S. in just a moment. First, all eyes on Tropical Storm Claudette. We've been monitoring Claudette now over the last several days. Here's the path as it developed across the eastern areas of the Caribbean and has slowly made its westward track, now moving more of a northwest track at 16 miles per hour. Still a very fast-moving system, but it's certainly much closer to making some landfall, and that's going to be right around Cozumel, probably within the next 1, 2, or 3 hours. It is nearing fairly rapidly, and it's only about 80 miles east-southeast. Taking a look at this in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we are still dealing with an upper low just sitting across the west, and that has really helped quite a bit as far as not allowing it to fully strengthen. But you can see that Claudette is moving fairly fast, and showers are going to begin to move in, and as the rainfall moves on in, we'll deal with some heavy showers, but it's not going to be a very, I should say, because of its fast movement, it's not going to dump a whole lot of rain. That's the easiest way to explain that. But across the western areas of Cuba, on the eastern side of this, we could get some heavy rains here too. But the fact that it's moving so fast, that is going to be our saving grace here, because that's not going to allow for the mudslides we typically see with slow-moving systems and all the heavy downpours and the flash flooding. Nonetheless, it is still moving, as I mentioned, to the northwest at 16 miles per hour. And now, as we take a look at the latest for the projected path, it is going to skirt across the Yucatan, and make its way into the Gulf of Mexico. The question now is it going to turn into a hurricane, and where's it going to go? There's still a lot of uncertainty on this. Nonetheless, it does bear watching, because it does, once it gets into these warmer waters and it doesn't have landfall as it meanders and waxes and wanes, we're just going to continue to possibly see it gain some strength. So it's going to certainly take some watching. But for the near future, tropical storm warnings are in effect from Chetumal, Mexico, across towards the Campeche, Mexico area, as this storm system is expected to bring quite a bit of rain and some winds with it. Not very strong winds, though. The past 24 hours across the Atlantic, very quiet. Not much is going on here. It's a quiet scenario tonight. The Gulf of Mexico, quiet right now, but you can see we're going to see some disturbed weather here as Claudette makes its way over the Yucatan. A little further towards the west, we have our next tropical depression. 5, that is. 5E stands for the eastern side of the Pacific. It's not a very strong one. We have winds at 35 miles per hour, but it's also a fast-moving storm, and it's going to continue, or I should say depression, moving towards the west-northwest at 14 miles per hour, moving into some of that cooler water away from land. That's the key word there. And you can see it right here on the satellite loop. Still not a very organized system, nonetheless, tracking away from land. And speaking of land, I said we have some thunderstorms. We have flood watches across the Ohio Valley tonight and a very small area across the D.C. location under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. You can see the thunderstorms are rolling fairly rapidly towards the northeast. We do have severe thunderstorm warning till 1:30 for the D.C. metro area. That does include the district. We'll have more on that.
Baked on, burnt on, greasy food. Tired of scrubbing, scraping, and soaking? For tough baked on grease, you need Dawn Power Dissolver, the amazing power foam spray that penetrates greasy food, leaving your pots and pans, dishes, stovetops, even grills looking like new. Just spray on Dawn Power Dissolver and set it aside. While you do the rest of your dishes, Power Dissolver cuts through the toughest baked on, burnt on, greasy food. In minutes, just rinse and wash clean. Spray it, leave it, and rinse it. That's it. Or put them right in your dishwasher without wiping or rinsing. Even the toughest stains wipe away with ease. So forget scrubbing, forget soaking with Dawn Power Dissolver. Call for this valuable money-saving coupon good towards your purchase of Dawn Power Dissolver. Call now and receive a second coupon good towards Cascade Plastic Booster, the plastic cleaning dishwasher.
Forecast for your area. Your extended forecast.
It's 10 minutes till the hour, time for our tropical update, and we're going to update you on the Atlantic Basin and the Eastern Pacific. But first up, of course, we want to get you situated on Tropical Storm Claudette. To get your bearings, here's the Florida Peninsula, here's the Yucatan, here's the Gulf of Mexico, and here's our tropical storm right now just skirting the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, the current advisory at 5 a.m., the winds are at 55 miles per hour. Still keeping it a tropical storm, moving northwest at 14 miles per hour. The pressure is 1,008 millibars, and it's 30 miles north of Cozumel, Mexico. And it should continue on this north or west-northwest track for a little while anyway. Looking at our satellite picture, notice the convection still holding together very well despite the shear this thing has encountered over the last couple of days. Still looking at the outflow coming up in the way from the tropical storm. And again, it should be moving into the Gulf of Mexico here very soon. Now, we do have tropical storm warnings up here from Campeche, Mexico to Chetumal, Mexico. The hurricane warnings have been dropped. Of course, this is just a tropical storm. The projected path takes it in the Gulf of Mexico, the western Gulf, and then towards Texas. Not just everybody in Texas should be watching this, but everybody along the Gulf Coast should be watching this. But the forecast is pretty certain that it should head off towards the west anyway. And the forecast to become a hurricane in 2 days. So again, stay on top of this, and we'll be updating you frequently throughout the day. Now, here in the eastern Atlantic, very quiet. A couple of waves still coming off of Africa, but going to seem to weaken as they head off towards the east, which is typical for this time of the year. And we have in the eastern Pacific, this is Tropical Storm Enrique, looking pretty healthy here. The winds are at 40 miles per hour. It is forecast to continue to strengthen as it heads away from land. So good news for the eastern or western coast of Mexico. Bill?
And thank you, Kim. Marshall now joining us from your weather today. Marshall, that rain may have ended in the Midwest, but it looks like the windshield wipers may be getting a workout today for that commute in parts of the Northeast.
They will be for a while, Bill. Good morning, by the way. We're going to track those showers as they move out of the region and see if they cause any airport delays. Alexandra Steele will have all those details for you. And we'll get you ready for the weekend with the forecast for beaches around the country, including those along the Gulf Coast. Now, Bill shows us what June's gloomy weather meant for some of the nation's businesses.
That's right, Marshall. Summer began on a dreary note in many parts of the country, and that gloomy picture carried over to the economy. The Bloomberg Money Barometer looks at a dismal June for some businesses.
Good morning. Many retailers reported disappointing sales in the month of June. Shoppers cut back on spending as unemployment rose and rainy weather hurt demand for summer merchandise. Wet weather early in the month discouraged shoppers from buying shorts and swimwear at many department stores and clothing chains. June same-store sales at Walmart increased 2.7% from a year before, which is at the low end of the company's range. Also, Kohl's cut its earnings forecast after a 2.4% drop in sales, and Federated, the owner of Macy's and Bloomingdale's, said sales dropped a more than expected 2%. Then we have Sears saying that its same-store sales fell 1.8%. Cooler June weather led to lower than expected sales of air conditioners. June is an important month for retailers because it ranks second to December in terms of sales. Retailers use the month to clear out leftover spring merchandise and sell summer items like t-shirts and lawn furniture. For the Weather Channel, I'm Linda Bell with the Bloomberg Money Barometer.
All right, let's take you through the weekend. Can you get that barbecue in? Oh, you sure can in Chicago, New York City, and even here around Boston. But here in the South, with a front kind of stalling out, we keep the threat for thunderstorms, so get in those activities, outdoor activities, early if you can in Atlanta, Charlotte, even around New Orleans. Of course, we'll be monitoring Tropical Storm Claudette. Again, folks in Texas and all along the Gulf Coast, watch out.
Good point there. And Dennis joining us talking about Getaway Friday weather.
Getaway, but it's going to be tough in a few locations. New York City, running some delays to LaGuardia, about 40 minutes as the morning rain continues, gradually clearing out in Philly. It looks like a muggy day in Washington, D.C. as that rain works its way towards Boston.
Have a great weekend, everyone. That's it for First Outlook.
All right, your weather today coming up next.
Whether you call it fiscal responsibility,
$500 for paper towels,
artful negotiation,
Bill, this isn't the price that we talked about.
prices go up.
or simply survival,
I know we need it, but can we afford it now?
saving money is crucial to a small business owner. So we've built the savings and services of Open, the small business network, into the American Express Business Gold Card. Call now to apply. You'll save automatically every time you use your card at Staples, FedEx, Hertz, and a long list of other suppliers. Plus, you can enroll in our rewards program and earn points towards everything.
Your extended forecast.
Good Friday to you. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Rich Johnson. Let me give you the latest on Claudette, Tropical Storm Claudette, back over toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and looking at the latest satellite photographs, it looks like where that center circulation is, maybe drifting offshore again. As of the 11 a.m. advisory, Claudette at that point was centered 21.6 north, 87.4 west. That was about 55 miles northwest of Cancun, so essentially on the coast there. Top sustained winds at around 60. It's moving northwest at 14. The pressure estimated, because usually when you have one of these tropical cyclones move over land, the hurricane hunters, they stay out over the water. So that's why we have an estimate of 1008 millibars. Latest with tropical storm warnings from Progreso all the way around to Tola, Mexico. As this system lifts away from Mexico, eventually these warnings will be dropped. Here's our picture out there, the big picture of the Atlantic Basin. That's where we're starting, right there. That's with Claudette. And here's our big view here, the infrared shot. Again, you can see Florida up this way and Yucatan Peninsula. Circulation center right in this area here. Closer in view. This is a closer in satellite photograph. You can see the pattern right here. And as we look at this pattern with the cloud structure here, it looks like it is now bursting again, meaning that as you watch tropical systems, they go through these bursts where you get some development. Sometimes there's a little weakening, but the structure showing that that anticyclone is pretty well developed again, and we're getting that inflow. Again, the circulation center probably somewhere right in here, pretty close to the coast, but drifting off. And as soon as the system drifts away from land, you get that mechanism of all that warm water which evaporates and moves into the tropical cyclone that really starts strengthening again. So we do expect some more strengthening. One thing that has been fighting what caused the weakening yesterday was a trough of low pressure. This is our water vapor imagery here, and yesterday the water vapor showed this envelope of clouds essentially pointing up toward the eastern Gulf, and you usually get this view, and it sort of points ahead to which way it was moving. Of course, yesterday Claudette made the turn. It was moving essentially west-northwest, then moved northwest and made a little curve there. That's the way those upper air winds were steering this system. Well, if you look at the last couple of pictures here, it appears that the cloud structure is now starting to bend more back to the west, so it will probably make more of that jog back over the northwest for a little while. We're watching a number of forecasts. Some want to drift a little bit farther north. Most of them want to take it farther to the west. So the bottom line is any interest really in the western Gulf, maybe the central Gulf too, you want to keep an eye on this system. It will be making its way farther to the northwest, and it will hit an area that we think that there will be lighter winds. So we're expecting a slowdown with Claudette. So still a few days. It should be out over the Gulf. Plenty of time to continue to watch Claudette. Farther to the west, we do have a tropical wave here. A little spin possibly with this, little disturbance. That's still good ways away from the islands. Plenty of time to watch that one. And there was a spin with the circulation that came off of Africa. That appears to have weakened also. Over the Pacific side, Tropical Storm Enrique. Here's latest information. It's about 745 off to the west-southwest of Acapulco. Looks like it's really getting its act together here, and we expect Enrique to make its way across the open waters of the Pacific. So we're not concerned about this bothering the Mexican coast. Maybe some of the waves will be a little bit higher than average, but that's it. Back to the States, I want to show you some of the pictures from the storms yesterday in Atlanta. Yeah, for Atlanta, some of these storms were deadly. In fact, a tree fell onto an SUV, killing a mother and her 2 young children who were in the car. The storms also knocked out power to 30,000 Atlanta residents. So we look back around the country today, more storms building up. Some of these could be severe.